Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm Ranjit this side, and we will be talking about today with the book club on a workshop on habits. This workshop is based primarily on work by uh, work that is described in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I will be drawing from different books and different concepts I have learned along the way, which are uh, related with habits. So, what's a habit? Habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to be automatic. It's simply a behavior which is done repeatedly, multiple times, and it becomes automatic. We don't need to think about it. So, I will little bit like to draw upon what a behavior is, how it can be repeated several times without efforts, and how it can be becoming automatic. So, for that, we need to little bit look into the behavior science and psychology, how it works. So behavior science deals with what we actually desire, what do we want, why we do what we do, and how our minds works. So this figure we have here is uh, it's actually called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So there are multiple models there. This one is a bit famous. We also have a yogic model similar to this one in our uh, literature. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs states that we have at the base physiological needs. When they are satisfied, we need safety. After that, we seek love and belongingness. After that, it's esteem, and then we go for self-actualization. So these are like when the physiological needs are not met, usually people don't go and search for these things. So these things drive our behavior more or less. So how this will slowly I will try to connect the dots and pictures in the subsequent slides to just understand that where we have our needs and where we place our wants. So one more thing that that James Clear discusses is identity-based habits. So what is an identity? Is who we identify as, and that shapes the kind of habits and kind of decisions we make around our life. So there were two approaches we had previously discussed in book club on these things, like goal-based habits or identity-based habits. So how do they differ? So usually when we are planning something, it goes through, we set an outcome or a goal, then we define a process to achieve that goal, and then we define an identity to do that. So, like definition of any process goes from goal process to identity. Like I want to read 100 books, then I define the process, like I will be reading, let's say, those books in 2 years, and uh, one book per week, and then my after I do that, the identity becomes that I am a reader. But in James Clear's, he talks about starting with an identity and assuming that identity already, and then acting according to that activity, that identity. So we behave once we assume an identity, we behave in the very consistently with our identity. So that is the whole idea of it. Once I say I am a reader, then if I'm not reading, then it is inconsistent with my identity. So it propels me to read more, read habitually. So it happens that way. Like usually we've set the process that way. We set a goal, we define a process, and we find out what identity is required for that goal, and then we assume that identity, and we start acting on the process, and we move towards our goal. So I hope this is clear. So we have to focus on who we wish to become, and say that I am a reader. Habits can change our beliefs about ourselves. So there is a simple perspective shift that happens. Like I want to be a reader is a different thing, and I am a reader is a different thing. So I want to is something that we are seeking, and I am a reader is something that we already identify ourselves now. So it shapes how we look at different decisions. So Now, the next idea that James Clear talks in his book Atomic Habits is this: how any behavior happens is through cue, craving, response, and reward. So a cue is an environmental trigger that is in the outside world, that we see, that we hear, any sound or anything. That is a cue. A craving is a feeling that is a response to seeing a cue. I will explain it in a better manner coming slides. Response is something. It's an action that happens with response to craving, and a reward is a feedback. When we perform some action, if it turns out to be positive, the reward is positive. It's a reward. Or if it turns out to be negative, then the feedback is negative. So that kind of appears to us as a failure. So a success in itself, success of an activity in itself is a reward. So James Clear talks about a few tricks, and his whole book is based on these things. Creating good habits involves making cues obvious in our environment. Craving has to be, any behavior that we want to do, we have to make it attractive. Response has to be, response deals with the action, so it has to be very easy to do. There should not be any friction and any decision making while getting into action. Reward has to be satisfying, like it should feel that we have done something, we have achieved something. And then we will talk about habit tracking and how we can use that as a reward. So I will get on to now, like this is something I have been thinking a lot for last few years, and then I found this model in this current book which I am reading. This is on yoga, and again this appears logically to me that how our mind might be working. So we have sense organs, like we have our eyes, ears, tongue, skin, and nose. So we have 5 sense organs, and we interact with our world. We take inputs from these sense organs from our outer world. So anything we see in the outer world is seen through all the sense organs. Then through that we make a perception, and that perception is backed by memory. Whatever memory we have, our perceptions are based on to that. And it filters or gives meaning to the raw data that we have seen or that we have heard. Then beyond that is our instinctual mind, and the process that it does is it makes a decision. So the role it has is of a decisive thing. So there is an instinctual mind which operates almost at an automatic level. So on top of that, we have an intellectual mind. In Daniel Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow, he has named the instinctual mind as System 1 and intellectual mind as System 2. So intellectual mind is thinking very slowly, and it thinks deliberately. It does not think automatically. It's kind of when we think consciously, we are using our intellectual mind. When the process is happening automatically, the decision is happening automatically, it's mostly our instinctual mind. Then it gives a rise to an emotion, and that emotion translates into an action, and then we act through our other organs onto the world. So the action organs are our limbs, our voice, and our whole body and all that. So we act through our body, and then some changes happen in the world. So this is the whole yogic model of mind, and how we interact with the world. So we have seen cue, craving, and response, and reward. So how do they fit on this model? Is simply we receive a cue from our outer world, we perceive, make sense of it basis on our memory, and the emotion that is generated by our instinctual mind on basis of that is a craving, and it gives rise to an action which is a response. When we act, then we receive some feedback, and then that reward is a feedback loop. It is stored in the memory such that we remember that feedback as a negative or positive, and then we decide next time acting while it was positive feedback or negative feedback, and how we should adjust to it. And all this process happens automatically. It's not a conscious process. Mostly intellectual mind is very less involved most of the times. Like 90% of the times, the intellectual mind is not involved in anything we do. So there was one more psychologist, Herbert Simon, and he had. I just got this sentence from mm, Thinking Fast and Slow, where Daniel Kahneman quoted him. The situation provides cue. Cue gives access to information stored in memory, and the information provides an answer, which is a response. So this process happens automatically. This process we can control. Like the situation provides cue, we can design cues which will give us an idea of what to do next. And the information provides the answer. So this act we want to happen automatically. So the 4 steps like cue, craving, response, reward. Cue is a trigger, craving is a feeling, response is an action, and reward is a success. Whatever is happening, the process is executed successfully or not. So a trigger is an environmental trigger, event or object. It can be anything in the environment. Craving is whatever we desire, want or need. That is why that Maslow's hierarchy of needs was important. Response, reaction or response. So system 1 gives a reaction. It's an automatic thing. And system 2 is capable of having a response. Like it thinks things through and it generates a well thought response for whatever the feedback, whatever the information it is getting from memory or the senses. So it thinks well and delivers on a response properly. And reward is anything that executes successfully, like getting what we want or fulfilling the need that the cue sets in us. So examples could be I see a fruit is a cue. Like these are the primitive. Like a caveman would think of these things, and now we think of these things. Okay, a caveman would see a fruit. He wants to eat, so he feels an hunger when he sees a fruit. So he acts on that. He plucks the fruit, and the reward is he gets to eat the fruit, and hunger is gone. So it's similar in the WhatsApp or mobile. Any notification we see, like we get a beep or sound or a red dot on the icon, we see the notification. I want to see what it is. So it's kind of a curiosity that we have about to see what new is there. We open WhatsApp, read the message, and we satisfy the curiosity and feel connected through it. So now, with that out of the way, this was the theoretical part, a little bit about all these things, how we behave and all that. Now we get down to tricks. So James Clear then talks about habit scorecard. So what is important is finding time to when to do the habits. Now we will restrict our scope for this presentation only up to the reading habit, because we are now in a book club. So we will look into how we can start a reading habit, or whoever is struggling with their habit, how they can strengthen it. So a habit scorecard will be listing your it is about being aware about whatever your schedule is, whatever all the activities you go through the day, and labeling them. Once you label them, you become aware of those things. So for an example, I've done a little bit habit scorecard for my morning. So I wake up, I shut down the alarm, I check my WhatsApp. Bad habit. So whatever the habits are, I have marked them with equal, which are okay, fine, whatever. If I do them, don't do them. It doesn't make any sense. I just have to do it. So checking WhatsApp is not a good habit, so I have marked it in minus. Drinking water after waking up, hydration is a good habit, so I want to make it regular, so I've made it as a plus. So we list all these habits and we mark pluses or minuses. So the habits we mark as plus are the ones that we stick with it consistently and compound over them. Habits that we want to reduce or get rid of, we mark them as minus. And habit which do not make anything better or make anything worse, we just mark them as equal. So once we do this exercise, we will even find what habits we are going through every day, which we should be paying more attention to, and where to find the time slot for one more trick that is coming up in the next slides, for habit stacking. So usually if most of you are working, your time slots should be available not in the morning, but either in the afternoon when you have lunch, or when you come back from the office to home, after you eat your dinner or something, before you sleep. So that will be some time you will get 15-20 minutes to read a book. So keep this in mind. We will be doing a small exercise with pen and paper, wherein you will be writing these things, like where will we sit for reading and all this. So implementation intention is something we define our intention in one sentence, and we write it. Okay, if you all have pen and paper, I want you all to write it on pen and paper like that. I will read 5 pages. Yeah, I'm writing, and I wish you all to be writing. I will read 5 pages of a book at 9 p.m. on wherever you want to read it. I read on the couch, so I place it there on the couch. So I just wrote it. This makes it concrete. Just thinking about it does not solve the problem, because unless your thoughts are they're solidified somewhere, you will forget them, and it doesn't work. So for implementation intention to work, I want it to be written somewhere. So if you all can write it, it will be great. Next thing comes is habit stacking. Now, after you have set your implementation intention, I want you to identify one habit in your life which you do every day. And like one of those habits could be we brush our teeth. If you want to set an exercise routine, brushing after doing it, like brushing your teeth is a current habit, and the new habit will be exercise here. I usually set it after dinner for my reading. After I eat dinner every day, I will read 5 pages of Bhagavad Gita. So once you do that and write it down and remind yourself a few times that you will do that. And today evening, this thought will come to you that when you finish your dinner, you will remember that you have to do that, and you will probably do it. The likelihood of you doing it increases very, very highly. Okay, so I want you to write this also. After I have dinner today, I will read 5 pages of any book you want to read. In my case, it is Bhagavad Gita. So I set that intention also of habit stacking. So why I believe if all can, are you all writing? You can unmute or raise your hands, or
Yes, I'm writing.
Yes, writing.
Sachin?
Yes, I'm writing.
Okay, everyone is writing. Nice. Other people?
Yes.
All right. So far, I believe everything is smooth. Everyone is understanding everything. Do I need to slow down or explain anything in deep?
Like going all good.
Okay, fine. So I will continue, and it's a short one, very little remaining. Okay. So then it comes to designing the environment. So we want our environment to give ourselves cue which are supportive to our habits and which reduce our efforts. The simple reason being, once we want to do something, we want it to be very fluid, and we don't want any decision making happening in between. Doing something and thinking about something. Like I will go a little bit back on this thing. So if you think on this model, so if we sense something and we have arrived at this point where we have we have remembered that this memory has given us our implementation intention, and we have remembered that we are supposed to do that, but we can't find a book, or we are confused about which book we want to read. Then this thing engages intellectual mind, and it takes efforts to think using our intellectual mind. So once we are exerting efforts, it becomes more likely to to turn that thing into an action, and it doesn't result into anything. So you will be confused, you will be anxious, or it's highly unlikely that you will do it. So it's better to program your environment that way, so that whatever you want to do, like, it should be very clear which book you want to read, and you can keep that book near wherever your reading place is. uh, you can set an alert or reminder on around the time which will remind you that you are a reader, so that will, that will push you into being consistent with that thing. So that is about designing environment. I also expect it to be like, I don't like distractions in my environment, so I keep my cell phone away. I don't have notifications turned on my cell phone. I keep them all shut down, and I keep the mobile phone away because I have a habit of getting onto YouTube and watch videos for hours. So I just keep it away. So whenever I am getting into reading, you have to make it attractive. So there is one more thing called temptation bundling. So it can be done like, after habit I need, I will habit I want. So I will read 5 pages of Gita and then I will watch a YouTube video, because watching YouTube videos is something I like. So I will not watch YouTube videos until I read 5 pages of Gita. But after I read 5 pages of Gita, I get to watch a YouTube video. So habit I want can be, eating a chocolate or something. If you are not weight conscious or health conscious, that can be done, because sugar is a very high sugar is a good motivator for us, and it gels very well together with our habits and everything. So join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. So if no people around you are reading and they think that reading books is a waste of time or nothing happens by reading a book, it's highly unlikely that you will be able to read in such an environment. So you want a peer group where you can share what you are reading, where you will be appreciated for the time you are putting in for reading, and where where you can relate to the stories and the books that you are reading. So a peer group is an important part because of that. So we can have also a motivational ritual associating positive feelings with the habit. So doing something we enjoy first and then going to reading. Like, if you enjoy, that is why I set, in habit stacking I set it as dinner, because I hope we all enjoy our dinners, because eating food is something that we most of us enjoy. And if after that we are going for reading after a good dinner, then it is more likely to stick with us, and that habits are going to gel together with. So that is one thing. One more thing is there, that we should not associate any habit with any good habit with a negative emotion. Once it is there, it becomes very hard to overcome that emotion and get back into the habit. So don't beat yourself up even if you are unable to keep up with your goals, or unable to put up yourself to the habit, or you find it very difficult, because I will come to that, how to ease the difficulties. So the more we repeat something, the more automatic it becomes, the more intuitive it starts to become. So there is a habit line we have. So with repetitions, our habit, like we try to we will get into a habit. So I have been reading for last 6-7 months now. It feels for me, if I don't read for a day, it feels something is off. So I have mostly crossed this habit line. So how to get there is to show up, and the 2 minute rule is for that. To show up means, like, you have to when you want to have a habit of writing something, the idea is to just sit on the desk and open the pen and put it on the paper. You don't have to write any word or anything, and write the first word that comes to your mind. So one word is enough for you to get started in doing anything. Similarly, like, you want to understand a whole subject, so understanding the whole subject is going to be very hard. So reading a book is quite difficult. Moderate goal is a 50 pages, easy thing is 5 pages, and very easy thing is one para. So when you are feeling down someday, just get there and tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to read one line today, and try to read that one line. And once you are into that reading one line, you will automatically feel like reading one paragraph or a few pages. And if you can get yourself to read 5 pages, you can read furthermore. So that way you won't be losing your streak, or you won't be losing on your habit. So the most important part is to do the least possible thing you can that day when you are not feeling like doing it. Then make it satisfying. This is about habit tracking. So I have a process of habit tracking. I read physical books. So I use a bookmark where I put the dates and I record page numbers on that date which I read. So and I count pages. For counting the progress, I count my pages, and then I total them for every week and every month. So that gives me a feedback that I'm progressing right way. I also get a feedback of how many pages I'm reading, how much time it is taking for me to read those many pages. Is my reading speed okay or not? So that feedback is important because you see, reward is is success, and unless we measure success, we will not understand. Unless we measure something, we will not understand whether we are successful or not. So what can we measure for books is total pages read, because this is something that is very tangible. How much I understood is not tangible directly, so I do not base my rate of success on how much I take away from that book, because it's not always tangible. Sometimes we forget a lot of things. So and that is not also my goal. My goal is just sit to read a few books, dump all the information in my head, and something will come out, something I will reflect. So the key performance index here, KPI, is going to be total pages read, and I want you all to track that. So I use something like that. I made these bookmarks, so I keep them written like that, and I keep it in the book. So, and I keep one pen near a book wherever I'm reading. So and I have pens all over my house. Like in study, I have a pen. In my drawing room, I have a pen. So anywhere I sit, there is always a pen to record things. So that is there. So if you can track that well, that is good. On Kindle, you can track how much percent you have read in a day, or you can track your location numbers also. So that is something. So whatever is immediately rewarded is repeated. So once you, like, sometimes we go through a book, and I yesterday read some 77 pages, and I was not aware I was reading that much. That was something 4 hours for me. So once I measured how much I have read, it felt really good. Like I did better than average today. I read 77 pages. My average is something around 40 pages per day. It takes me close to 1.5 to 2 hours to read 40 pages. I read very slowly, and the books I'm reading these days are very difficult, so that's why the speed is slow. But it gives me good pleasure that okay, fine, I have done good today, that I have read some more than 40 pages or something like that. So that reward makes it more likely for me to pick up the book today, and that happened today morning. Like today I just picked up the book and finished one chapter more. So even when we like it, when we understand that the habits are important and we want to continue, and sometimes we tend to fail, and sometimes we tend to not continue and give up on those things. So why that might be happening? So this comes from a book named Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and the concept is described by him in this graph, and it's very simple. Uh, the level of our skill and the level of our challenge, when they match, we experience a state of flow. And if the challenge is more than the level of our skill, we experience anxiety. If we have higher skill and lower challenge than our skill level, then we experience boredom. Like we finish it very early. And these are the 2 points in anxiety and boredom where we are more likely to quit. So how do we deal with that? Is, we have, the first thing I told, that we have to be aware about what is happening inside us, to take stock of it and understand and correct it properly. So once you understand that you are anxious and why it is happening, if you think that the thing is very challenging for you, then you can do 2 things. You can pick up a less challenging task, or you can keep at it and slowly improve your skill. So if you keep at it, your skill will slowly start improving and you will get into flow again. If you reduce your challenge, you will enter into flow again. So these are the 2 things. So how can we reduce the challenge? So we can, if we are reading a difficult book, we can pick up an easier book. If we are targeting some 10, 15 pages or 20 pages a day, and our speed is very slow, and we are unable to find the time, then we can reduce the number of pages to 2 pages, 3 pages, 5 pages, whatever is feasible for us, and stick with it for a while until we find time and stack on that. Uh, and I did this, keep at it, and slowly improve skill. And I would like to tell this was regarding Nassim Taleb's books. Books are difficult, language is difficult, concepts are difficult. But I just when I was reading, I started with Fooled by Randomness. When I was reading it, I just stuck with it, and I just stuck with all the 4 books until I finished them. I just started dumping all that information, and then they slowly started becoming enjoyable. Then they slowly started becoming even rewarding when I was finishing them, finishing the chapters, understanding new concepts. So I just from this point I moved to this point when I was reading Talib, and I kept this strategy: keep at it, slowly improve the skill. So when you are bored, up the challenge. So when you are reading a book which is just repetitive and telling you the same thing or something like that, you can pick up a difficult book, pick up a more engaging book, pick up something that you like, or which is more challenging for you to do. You can read more pages per day. You can read faster. You can try to improve your reading speed. And as I said, you can pick up a difficult book if you want to up your challenges. So that why, but you will say, why would you get into a better challenge, like higher challenge? So that will this is an optimal experience. It's as close to happiness as possible. Like you are completely focused into that, and you are trying to derive as much as possible. This is an automatic process. You simply lose all all sense of reality, and you get sucked into whatever you are doing. So that state is very enjoyable, and that is why you should always keep that balance of challenge and skill. So my current process is I keep books, pen, notebook, habit tracker near the couch. So this is my setup. This is how it looks. I have 3 books here. Currently, I'm reading Epictetus, Quiet, and Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. I have a Kindle. I have a notebook here for taking notes. I have a few like I use these cards, something like that, for taking notes. I have a pen and all these things. And then every book has its own bookmark. And for every bookmark, I write there how many, what date and how many pages I have written that day. So I keep this setup ready every day, and I sit here only and I read. So I track my progress in page numbers, and while I read, I write date, page numbers on the bookmark. I prefer physical books. So I read on Kindle if the text is very small and it's straining my eyes. I move my bookmarks on a physical copy to sync the progress. Like I read only those books on the Kindle which I have the physical copy for. I compile page numbers on bookmark on a habit tracker, and that habit tracker page is also there. Like I keep it there only, and then I compile it in Excel. Why I do, why I go through all these efforts of tracking is because there was 1 month. Last month I stopped tracking and I was only exclusively reading on Kindle. It becomes difficult to continue the habit if you're not tracking it. It simply becomes you simply don't receive any kind of feedback of where your progress is, how many books you have finished, how many pages you have read. If you don't get that kind of feedback, you are very unlikely to find that energy or find that motivation to get back into the book reading. So I don't worry about remembering anything I read, but I reflect upon whatever I try to reflect upon remembering, like whatever I have read. uh, think on those concepts, think how they relate to my life. I discuss with my wife when we go on evening walk. I don't force myself to read. I never do that, because if I force myself to read and some negative memories come regarding the process of reading, then I'm less likely to do it again. So if I don't, if I at all find that today is not the day for reading, I just take a rest for that day. I leave books unfinished if I don't like them. Yeah, and I have strong feelings about books. Some books are like I feel like burning them. If they don't add anything to me, or if they are very nonsensical. But most of the books I respect and care for very diligently. I keep my books very carefully. I handle them very carefully. I read slow. I keep reading even if I don't get it. I treat my books with utmost care. Yeah, I don't fold pages. I don't do any abuse with physical books, even if I don't like them. I read 2 3 books at once. This is just to keep it interesting and in the flow. Because if I get bored, I can pick a difficult book. If it feels very challenging, I keep down the book, but I pick up a easier book. I keep that combination there, like one difficult and others are easy, so that I can balance that level of challenge and the state of flow. So I keep my phone away. I simply keep my phone away in the other. This is my setup. So in summary, I want you to recite one more time that I am a reader, and you can say it out loud. I am a reader. I will read 5 pages of Bhagavad Gita at 9 p.m. in the couch or whatever your locations are, and you can recite it in your head or loudly also. So this will program your brain for all these things. This will go into your subconscious for a little bit of time in your subconscious and recent memory for a short time. And once you have those cues in the place, like the cue is here going to be this and this location, when the 9 p.m. happens, that will be a cue for you, and you will remember that you have to read these things. After existing habit, this will be again your cue. After you have dinner, I will read this book. So once this happens, this will pop up in your head. So after I have dinner, I will read Bhagavad Gita. So these are simple things for me, and probably I will be going to read Bhagavad Gita today evening. So thanks a lot. That was it, and we will take questions and have an open discussion. Everyone,
It was very well compiled
yes,
and presented. It was very well compiled and presented.
yeah.
Very good.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. Anyone has any questions or anything you want to discuss on the slides?
Yes, Ranjit.
Manoli, your voice is not clear.
Am I audible?
This is atomic habits in few slides.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan, please.
The pyramid structure you showed earlier in the presentation, that was
Yeah.
kind of similar to motivation for workers in management, I think.
Yeah, that model is used in multiple places, and there are similar models. Like these are 5 stages. Some models have 7. In our yogic system, the model is with 7 chakras and 7 levels.
Yeah, correct.
So similar models.
Yeah, models are different. The structure is same. So
Yeah.
pyramid.
No,
you
even
can-
means workers management, the motivation factor comes in.
Yeah.
So they need physiological needs, safety needs, and love and self-esteem and self-actualization is the last step. So these
Yeah.
actual facts are there in motivation theory in management.
Yeah, it is there. Like most of the behavior sciences, it deals with that, how motivation is there, how it exists, what exactly people are motivated by, and why we do what we do. Like I got interested in these topics when I was in undergrad.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, Sachin, you were saying something?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
First of all, the appreciation
Thank you.
presentation was very good, and I more like most the concept of that flow
Yeah.
you taken from the book flow.
Hmm.
If you feel some challenging or challenge is quite more, then we can reduce it and we can improve our skills.
Hmm.
So that concept is quite good. I found it is applicable to for me.
Yeah, it's universal, kind of universal. Any process, anything that is associated with skill and challenges, it can be applied to anything.
Yes, it is too much simple.
Hmm.
And it is too much easy to get it applied for any.
Yeah.
But
Like everyone wrote this implementation intention and habit stacking, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, great. So the next thing that comes is, when that cue happens, make sure you have your book ready in the place that you want to do it. So uh, there are 3 things here: behavior, time, and location. So behavior should be again not ambiguous. Like if you want to read a book, the book should be there. If you don't have a book, you will be confused. What the hell? Like, what book should I read? So it should not happen at the time of acting. Like thinking should not happen at the time of acting. Thinking should happen prior to that, and everything should be there to act on that immediately.
Yes.
Okay.
But see, if someone said that I will read book for 2 hours at home,
Hmm.
but they don't like they just say it.
Hmm.
So what will
Yeah,
happen to them?
that's ambiguous. 2 hours is an ambiguous thing. That is not a concrete time. So time is a cue.
Yeah, yeah. But let's say someone has written, I will read a book every day at let's say 8 a.m.
Hmm.
8 a.m. 00 second and everything. He has written a sentence very like precisely.
Hmm.
At location at this degree, I will make angle with the sun and everything. But he has just written the sentence.
Hmm.
So what will happen then? Means,
Yeah,
some
so this thing is that is why I explained the model of the mind. Let me get back to. So what happens here is once you get the cue, uh, this thing turns on. Like what we just did, set an implementation intention is in our recent
yes,
memory.
correct.
Okay, so it gets triggered once we get the cue.
Hmm.
Okay, so then our instinctual mind thinks ki what it was associated with, what that cue was associated with in our recent memory. And if
Yes.
that is associated with, we have already said that we are going to read, then we try to be in continuation of that, we try to behave or we try to emote or the
Yes.
craving starts to generate accordingly. And
Yes.
then we are more likely to act on that.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that is why, I mean, if it is instinctual, then it is more likely that we will have, it all happens automatically.
Hmm.
If anywhere this thing involves, if anywhere we have to think consciously about it, it becomes effortful.
Hmm. So it
That
is
is why.
basically like you are taking away one decision
Hmm,
from your daily routine. So like it happens automatically. It becomes muscle memory, right?
So
yeah, yeah,
reducing the barrier.
yeah. It's actually three decisions. And
Yeah.
not only three, four, five decisions it will be there. Which book you want to read, so you determine at what time you are reading and where you are reading it, and what habit,
Correct.
what activity it is. So you are actually doing four decisions automatically.
Yes. Also, I see that these things happen with Netflix and anything like streaming services. You just open
Hmm.
the TV. You don't know what to watch. You don't define a time or anything, but that happens automatically.
Yeah. So once that happens, like most of the apps and everything, it is well designed on this principle, cue craving and all that. This one,
Hmm.
uh, all the apps which are we are hooked to,
Hmm.
they employ this principle.
Yes.
That is why it is so
So,
hard to
so
quit
this
it.
applies to good habits as well as bad habits.
Yeah, yeah, true. Because any habit which has been designed by using this principle is really hard to break.
Hmm.
It happens on a subconscious level.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, please, Manoli.
Yeah, I just remembered we had like when we all were in atomic habits, we had a discussion on how even games are designed around this
Yeah,
particular system.
yeah,
That they make you come back to the game again and again in shorter spans so that you get hooked to it. And after a span, like when you are hooked, then they increase the time when you are required to come back or log in.
yes, yes, true. Because see, I have a book here somewhere. So this thing, hooked, it's about that only. Like how product design happens, and product by product, it deals majorly with digital products and how to get people habituated to something and build great products. It's the same principles. Just the thing is that we are using it for our own. We are trying to design our own life using those principles and trying to program our mind, kind of. So once it is repeated, it gets deeply ingrained in our memory, and that is kind of easily accessible. The more we repeat something, the stronger the neural pathway becomes in our brain
Yeah.
regarding that activity. So it just becomes easier slowly.
You also mentioned book club somewhere in the presentation.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Peer group.
Peer group.
Also, like here only, like the reward part. What I used to do is read the book, and like now you have something that you want to share,
Oh,
right? Your mind is overflowing.
yeah.
You have discovered something.
Yeah.
So what I used to do, I used to write 1 2 lines and post it on the book club.
Hmm.
That was kind of reward for me.
Hmm.
So I was doing it for myself. Like it is a dumb post, you can say. I don't care if someone is reading it or not, but I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, yeah. I also do that. I sometimes whatever I like, I put a WhatsApp status. That is one thing, and
Yeah.
I routinely discuss whatever ideas I like or want to, drill down myself. I discuss them with Geeta, my wife.
Yes. Also, that is a good reward, and like short term is okay, but
Mm.
like in long term, how it is now helping me is that I just use the WhatsApp search option. Like there was a quote from Atomic Habits. I know that there was a quote, so I just search Atomic Habits, and because I'm like meticulous in citation and everything, so I find that in within like 10 seconds of searching. So I have like WhatsApp is only my repository for quotes.
Nice.
So I may have some
Nice,
send
nice.
something to someone, and the status that I keep, if I want to keep, I first send it to myself. Like there is a group with me only in that, okay, and that is the top group of WhatsApp
You
where I interact.
use
Uh,
Notion.
yeah, I use Notion also, but it is not like you. I don't want to switch apps. Like WhatsApp is,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I
Yeah,
am caveman. Yeah.
Notion makes it very difficult to get down to the task of writing.
Yes.
There are a few steps involved. I use Keep for such note taking. Keep is very easy. Like you simply get down to writing.
Keep is very
Hmm.
simple. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Sachin raised his hand, I think.
Sachin.
Yes, yes, yes. I want to just add few more things. Just Ranveer mentioned about it
Mm.
that he has one group with him only on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So I think
Mm.
recently I heard this from Ankur Variku, one
Yeah.
short video on this. Yes, yes. I think in
Yes.
last week itself.
Ankur Warikoo copies what I do.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. Actually,
Yes.
it's a nice trick, and I've been doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Actually, it is working for me. I'm using
Yes,
Mm.
it
yes.
and it's working for me.
Also,
Because
like it is a very good way to edit your messages. I don't like to put out messages that has some grammatical mistake. So
Mm.
I sent it to myself first, see how it looks, and then copy it and then again paste it. It takes a lot of time, but it is a good editing like this thing.
and it can be a platform to store all information that we want to keep because
Yes,
too
Yes,
much
yes.
stuff is
It
coming on number of
becomes
groups.
a good repository of
Yes,
whatever you want to keep: images, photos, videos, links,
yes.
Mm.
everything. So, and I am doing it since the days when this was an actual bug.
yes.
So, the trick was to
Exploiting
save
bug.
your own number as one of your contacts, and then you could do this.
Hmm.
And since those days, I have it on my phone.
Mm.
Yes.
Hey, anyone
Uh,
wants to add something to about their
Also,
reading habits or something?
about that thing, the transformation of environment for like your purpose.
Mm.
So for that, I think there is a good CGP Grey video about that, like
Okay.
how to segregate whatever you're doing so that you don't ever get distracted.
Mm.
So, and So if you want to work, there should be a separate place where you physically go to. It can be a small office, a small place, and at that place, the only thing you are going to do is work. So all the things that you may get distracted by, those, like, not a single thing should be there in that room.
Yeah.
For relaxation, there will be, like, there should be a separate place where you can go, and like you can relax there without thinking about like other things.
Yeah.
So
So this is something that even what just Akash mentioned is something that even I have experienced. Malasa, like whenever I used to see my bed, I used to feel like, oh, I need to lie down, have a sleep or like have a nap. So the moment I moved my study desk out of the bedroom, it suddenly increased my work hours. Like because there was like not that visual cue to, oh, you need to like lie down and do
Yeah.
stuff. I still have a bed in my study, which I like second as a guest bed, but I don't sleep there, so that doesn't like feel too welcoming. Oh yeah, you need to sleep or the lower बसायची इच्छा नहीं है. So this particular thing has really like changed the game for me to a very big extent. Because till date, like for a very long time, my having a different room, my bed and my study room were the same. Because that was, and that's the case with most of us where we have our own personal rooms. So study and the bedroom, they're like kind of combined. But the moment like now that I separated two, so I can like really see the difference that it makes.
Well, that happens because these most of the cues we associate them with some activity in our memory, and majority of our behaviors are based on what kind of memory we hold about something, and all these things happen automatically. So it becomes very cumbersome later on to change these things.
If I
Yeah, please.
if I find that video, I'll post it.
Yeah, there is one Akash. There is a book also, Deep Work by Carl Newport.
Yeah, Carl Newport.
Yeah, he also mentions all this.
Done.
Then.
हा, मला वाटतं एन्व्हायरमेंट मध्ये आपल्या पुस्तक वाचत असताना जे आजूबाजूला लोक असतात त्यांचा पण समावेश असतो. तो 2021 मध्ये ऑलमोस्ट म्हणजे एप्रिल मे पर्यंत मी पुस्तकं कंटिन्युअसली वाचत होतो मागच्या जवळपास 4-5 वर्षापासून. काहीतरी पर्सनल प्रॉब्लेममुळे मी 2-3 महिने डिप्रेशन मध्ये होतो आणि माझे ट्रीटमेंट चालू होतं. तर त्या काळात मी ऑफिसला गेलो नव्हतो आणि मग वाचनही म्हणजे थांबलं होतं माझं ऑलमोस्ट. त्यानंतर मी जेव्हा ऑफिसला जॉईन झालो तेव्हा लोकांनी कारण काय होतं डिप्रेशनचं किंवा काय झालं काही विचारलं नाही. सरळ सरळ हे सांगत होते, एवढे पुस्तकं कशाला वाचतोस, त्याच्यामुळे असे विचार येतात तुझ्या मनात, रिलॅक्स राहायचं. अरे
like I had a similar experience. Like I was I won't mention their name. I was trying to get a school for mentorship for entrepreneurship, and I had one session with that mentor, and I told him that the only thing that I currently do is update my knowledge, and I'm reading a lot of books. He was like, books पढ़ने से कुछ नहीं होता. I literally fired these people from my life. So you don't want that kind of people around you if you want to get into a habit, or you know that something works for you and it is a good habit, and other people who just don't understand, you don't want those people around.
त्याआधी मी जवळपास 4-5 वर्ष रोज ऑफिसला कमीत कमी 1 किंवा 2 पुस्तक घेऊन जातो, जेणेकरून म्हणजे जर एखादं पुस्तक थोडंसं स्लो झाली पेस स्टोरीची तर मग दुसरं चेंज करायचं, किंवा एक शॉर्ट स्टोरी आणि एक नॉवेल असं घेऊन जायचं. पण मागच्या वर्षाची एक्सपिरियन्स नंतर आय डोंट नो समहाव ते हॅमरिंग झालं डोक्यावर आणि पुस्तक वाचन तर कमीच झालं. म्हणजे बऱ्याचशा गोष्टी येऊन गेल्या अभ्यासाच्या किंवा म्हणजे OTT वगैरे सर्व असं, पण ऑलमोस्ट आता बंद असल्यासारखं आहे. सो मी आता परत बुक क्लब मध्ये जॉईन होऊन परत सुरू करावं म्हणलं तर आता परत तब्येत खराब झाली माझी. तो मला या आठवड्यात काही जमलं नाही वाचायला, पण मी आता थोडं बरं वाटतं मला.
I understand that because I was also going through a very difficult time when I started reading books, and like one of the good things that was happened is I read books and they give me some kind of validation for my existence, that I'm reading and I'm doing something with my life.
तुझ्या आधी बोललास की आता सवय अशी झाली की वाचलं नाही तर असं काहीतरी चुकल्यासारखं वाटतं. माझ्यासोबत होतं मागच्या वर्षीपर्यंत. असं लाईक अरे यार वाचन झालं नाही, काहीतरी मिस होतंय असं.
No,
So
you will get back into it. Like stay in the group and keep sharing and whatever you are reading, how much ever it is possible, you can do that.
yes, मी थँक्यू सुरू करतो
Yeah,
परत.
yeah.
Yeah. By the way, the thing, the cycle, that cue, action, reward.
Hmm.
Uh, so it can be used for study as well. So there is a very famous
Yes.
studying technique which is known as Pomodoro technique.
Hmm.
Like
Yes.
like we can uh, use these cue, craving, response things and
Yeah.
embed it there also, which
Hmm.
is what I had done
Okay.
during like my gate preparations. So Pomodoro technique, how it works is uh, like any human brain cannot concentrate on one particular task for more than half an hour.
Hmm.
So the techniques goes like, why should you continuously sit and study for like hours and hours? You
Hmm.
study for half an hour only. So
Yeah.
study in the burst of 25 minutes
Hmm.
with a 5-minute buffer, and in those 5 minutes do something completely unrelated to study.
Hmm.
Listen to music or go out, you know,
Hmm.
like that. So in those 5 minutes we can add uh, something rewarding,
Hmm.
like you want to do something because of uh, because of which you are not able to study, you want to watch YouTube or something, you can
Yeah.
add those 5 minutes of YouTube in there
Hmm.
and keep studying, something like that.
Yeah, so whenever we crave that kind of thing, so we do that in that break and get that reward and just continue with
Yeah. So
the next thing.
like main thing is to uh, creating breaks in between,
Yeah.
that we should do in everything.
Like most of the times when it happens that I'm getting distracted or unable to focus on reading, so I just put the book down for a while and come back to it later sometime. So that also works because it's unnecessarily, you are just going through the pages and not unable to focus on anything. That doesn't work.
Yeah,
It makes you feel bad later on that you simply don't remember what you
yeah,
just
you
read
know
a
that
few
you
pages.
have passed 10-20 pages, you have moved forward, but what did you actually read?
Yeah. So instead of having that feeling, I choose, okay, fine, let's quit for the day or for a few hours and let's come back again.
Nice.
And
It works. Also about reading in public, like I just shared a thing by Vivekanand, like keep the spaces
Yeah,
separate. So if reading is something that you respect, you will, yeah, like you will attach those things. Like you will clean your the spot that you sit and read at.
Hmm.
You will like keep your books clean and everything.
Hmm.
But that just keeps you away from reading is what I feel. Like
Hmm.
म्हणजे just like just for the reading, if you see, books are just for reading,
Hmm.
so it does not matter if you dirty them. Like
Yeah, it's
the
okay. Like that's a personal
yeah,
trait. That's a
yes,
personal
yes.
thing.
But
Hmm.
like I feel that if you care more about reading,
Hmm.
then those things,
Hmm.
like in public I will not read, because then my reading will be hampered. So if you
Hmm.
think like that, then the reading is surely going to hamper. Like
Hmm.
for the most of the books that I read in bus.
Hmm.
In too much noise also, everyone is like flipping the book and seeing the cover and telling you that, yeah, I have read one book like this,
Hmm.
it is useless, and any type of comments like you get from any type of people. So
Hmm.
there is this disturbance, but I still read in public.
Hmm.
Also it feels good to like make people uncomfortable by I am reading and he is getting bored just sitting there.
Hmm.
So it is very like I find joy in that, like making people uncomfortable, because I have something to read,
Hmm.
or I can wait that time out by reading,
Hmm.
but he cannot. Like he is getting frustrated, he has nothing to read, so he
Hmm.
he has a need to talk to someone.
Like I missed to mention one point here. Like Ranveer, we can do that thing because like even I can do that thing because we have a really strong conviction that reading books is a good thing.
Yeah.
Why we are reading.
Yes.
If you don't have that, or if you have a shaky conviction that whether I should read, whether I should listen to the people, what they are saying might be true and all that. So if you have a shaky foundation, then that is not good. So your why, if your why is not strong enough,
yeah.
So it can shake it very easily.
Yes, I also like some of you might think that I am showing off my reading in public, but it is opposite of that. I am showing not off. I'm showing that I am not interested in being in public. I love reading, and just for some reason I am in public, but I don't want to deal with you. Something like that. So it is generally people when they carry a book, it is the purpose is that they want people to know that they are reading.
Yeah, it's signaling.
Yes.
They don't want to disturb people around them, I guess.
Yes. नाही मला येऊन विचारावं की अरे अल्केमिस्ट वाचतोय. Wow, you are reader, you are intelligent people.
Yeah, it's kind of sexual signaling.
Yes, तसं. But what I do is opposite of that. Get out of my face. I just want to read this. Good.
Yeah, I think it takes some time to. I missed it in this presentation, but I should have included it. Like it is very to have a conviction about any habit that you want to get into. Unless you have that, it becomes very difficult to stay in the face of any difficulty that you are going to face down the line. So that conviction is really important. I mean, one of the reasons I was reading about yoga and all these things is because that conviction was lacking for me. I somehow like we understand the long-term goals, but understanding the short-term rewards and why we are doing it is important.
Yes. Also, like I missed that word. The perfection. Like people chase perfection. So that's what I was getting at. Like clean the place before I sit there. Is my stomach full? Because then I will have to like keep chips packet or go to washroom and then sit at reading. So you spend 1 hour in that only in the preparation for reading.
Yeah, these are mostly kind of preconceptions or misconceptions about.
Yes. So that ritual for perfection is what's killing that thing. So if you want to get it done, do it very like make a sloppy attempt at doing it. Like eat while reading. It is like very against like not respecting reading or something like that, but it works if you like read and then eat, or if you are listening and then washing clothes, it works. It works simply.
Ranjit, you are on mute.
Yeah, my headphones got discharged. Sorry for the sound if it is anyway a bit hazy. Yeah. Anyone else wants to add anything about their reading habits or discuss something?
Yeah, or actually, general. Any topic, in fact.
I mean, how many of us? Like, I want to take a few things. How many of us are already, still facing difficulties while picking up a reading habit? Okay. 3. Anyone else? Shashank, Ankur, Sachin, and Ranveer. Why is Ranveer facing difficulty?
Currently, I'm facing difficulty. I will.
This is not acceptable.
No, I will give every excuse that I used to listen in the book club, like silly excuses, like I could not find time to read.
Okay. Guys, one thing I have found about Atomic Habits is that it's really nice book to read, but it works wonderfully. Like these last three things, even if you remember that this is all there is in the book. What is that thing? Well, only these three things. Sit down, write it on a page, remind yourself a few times in the day that in the same script, same script. I'm a reader. I will read X, Y, Z, whatever it is, and when that time comes, just make sure that you have a book and sit down for reading. Don't think about anything else, and just read at least one line every day, or at least for today, or for this day. So this will push you for the next things. And yeah, good. So anyone who is facing the difficulty, I would advise them to sit down, write a paper. It feels very trivial to write your thoughts down and stick with it, and you will feel like it is not going to do anything, but it works like magic. I tried it. To slip into a habit, it becomes very easy. To slip into any activity, it becomes very easy if you set an implementation intention and habit stacking, and you adopt that identity of a reader. It becomes very easy. Yeah, so we can slip on to other topics then. Akash.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what else you want to discuss?
We can have a roundup of what are we currently reading, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm currently reading The Shining, and I have reached the Red Room part. Red Room.
Oh,
Also, I live in a hostel that looks like a hotel. So empty corridors and everything. I also go at 3 to 4, like in between 3 to 4, which is called as hour up to coast, to fill water from 2 floors below. So good, life is good.
Nice.
nice.
Yes.
So
Also, there is lift involved. So I just wait for the lift doors to open and blood coming out. I'm just waiting for that part to happen.
So you already have the environment.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Others, what are you all reading?
Atomic Habits.
Pulled by random.
So
I,
that's
I have started with Atomic Habit, but long back I kept it incomplete. But now I will take over it and I will try to complete it.
या आठवड्यात तर काही जमलं नाही, पण मी आज ओमनिबसचे कमीत कमी एक कथा तरी वाचेल, एक स्टोरी, शॉर्ट स्टोरी हॉरर सुरू करायला काही हरकत नाही आज. बरं वाटतं तर.
निरंजन,
I
it
have
should
a
be like
couple of books that are
ओमनिबसचे
like part read.
आज मी ओमनिबसचे 5 पेजेस इथे बसून वाचेल, एवढ्या वाचतात.
आता मी लगेच थोडा वेळ सुरू करेल दादा बहुतेक.
Manoli was saying something.
Yeah, Manoli.
I have a long list of books that are left incomplete. Like I started and then I was not able to finish them. This is something that's been happening very often of recently. I pick up a book, I read it like 1/4 or halfway through it, and then I'm just not able to finish it, even if it is something that I want to read.
Manoli, you can
So,
try
in that lane,
what I did, like post in the book club that I am at 40%. I will not read this book further. Then again you read something and now then you post, I am at 50%. I am hating this book so much, but I'll still try to read. Do that, it works. I read like 4 worst books that I ever read this year, doing that technique.
okay, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, one more thing.
If they're so bad, you don't have to finish.
No, I have to finish so that I can sit on it better.
So
I'm currently
this is one of the things we have discussed, right?
Yes, yes. I'm currently reading Shiva trilogy, and I'm like 5 hours from the third book end. So wait for a long review.
Yeah, but
Sunk cost fallacy.
Yes, 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 yes. We discussed this.
cost fallacy.
शिवाय ट्रायोलॉजीची क्वालिटी अशी कॉन्स्टंटली डिक्रीज होत जाते प्रत्येक पुस्तकासोबत.
Yes, yes. But so my excitement grows as the quality decreases. My excitement and pressure very much increases.
Like for how worst it can get.
Yes, yes.
Like Manoli, I have a trick for that. Don't pick up any book if it doesn't solve your problem. Books should be a solution. So if you look at it that way, you are more likely to stick and complete to it.
Nice.
That holds for non-fiction and self-help. Huh?
No, it holds for fiction also. Like
It
it,
can,
yes, yes.
it can.
It can, yes.
Fiction.
If you want to read about science, read Dune. Simple.
Yeah,
No,
Dune.
it becomes difficult in terms of fiction as to what exactly you are going to learn from that.
Yes, you don't know what you are getting into. So,
It's kind of a surprise.
surprise.
In terms of
Correct,
non-fiction and
correct.
all these things, it's not a surprise. It's well out there.
Ankur, what are you reading?
Yeah, so I recently, since Thursday, started Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. So I had started it long ago, but left in between. So one of my friends recommended it to me long ago. So I'm continuing with that book.
Good. I left it at rule number 6. But
And?
it is at rule number 6. So
Okay.
halfway through, I left it. But it is a good book.
Jordan
So,
Peterson, huh?
Yes, 12 Rules of Life.
so I came across this book like one of my friend, whenever we were having discussions, he just whenever we had arguments, he just took he would just take this book and read a rule from it and would argue with me. So so in that manner, so I tried. Okay, I thought okay, so I also read about it, and also I saw few of the writers' videos and interviews regarding his a bit controversial thoughts, like how people think his thoughts are a bit controversial. So in that case, I eagerly wanted to read that what he has written in the book that people are so protesting. So I
Yeah.
started with it.
Good, good.
Okay. Who else? Subhaga has told what he is reading. Geeta is reading Khekda Saga.
What?
Yes, I am reading Khekda. I almost completed it. It is very interesting book, and it is having suspense at the end, and it's not a horror book. Yeah, one or two
Good
stories
katha.
are other.
Good
Sorry.
katha आहे. गुड कथा गुड कथा
गोड कथा आहे ती. हा.
Right.
ते पुस्तक जे आहे तुझ्याकडे तिथे घरी ते निरंजनचं आहे. निरंजन कडून घेतलं.
Khekda का?
ओके.
Okay.
खेकडा रत्नाकर मत्सरी.
नाही रे,
Right.
this is Khekda is by
जी आहे.
रत्नाकर मत्सरी. नाही, रत्नाकर मत्सरी.
रत्नाकर मत्सरी.
रत्नाकर मस्करी. हाँ.
okay, I thought
आणि दुसरं आहे काजळ माया जे
काजळ मायाजी यांचं आहे.
त्यांचं आहे.
yes.
आणि यातली एक स्टोरी वाचताना तर मला असं वाटलं की मी सावधान इंडिया बघतीये.
ते नवरा बायको समुद्र किनाऱ्यावर होता ती वाली काय?
नाही, एक स्टोरी होती, ती मी आणि तो.
अच्छा.
हा, बागेमध्ये एक मुलगी असते आलेली.
It's about a serial killer.
सावधान इंडिया. सतर्क रहे, सावधान रहे.
मी सध्या 3 पुस्तकं वाचतोय. थिंकिंग फास्ट अँड स्लो, डॅनियल कानेमॅन, व्हाईट आणि इपिक्टेटस.
By the way, can we talk about serial killers?
No. No, no.
So just yesterday I finished
Committed a murder. You
that.
don't. You confessing here?
No.
And you are recording this.
Yes.
So
ते
just
What
Netflix
what
वाले
kind of what kind
स्टोरी
of
टाकणार.
documentary,
serial murder?
documentary about that guy
डॅमर.
Jeffrey Dahmer, I think. Jeffrey or
Yeah.
is it Jeffrey?
हा जेफ
Jeff,
डॅमरच.
yeah,
हो.
Jeff Dahmer. So yeah, I mean, actually I have watched a lot of serial killer documentaries. So one thing like keeps getting highlighted in my mind is almost all of them are like in between that two decades, uh, 60s, 70s, 80s, and that was the
Yes.
period where even USA didn't have any kind of surveillance. Forget surveillance, there were no computers as well, and there is no DNA evidence, like DNA, like better methods to find perpetrators, plus racial bias against non-whites. All these like the very similar patterns keep coming again and again. That is one thing. Second thing is like it always gets me the same thing again and again. People said no, he didn't look like a serial killer. No, that he was very charming, very friendly. In fact, that is your cue, right? Like he is
Yes. You should.
overtly, he
Yes.
was
You
taking,
should
he
take
was being okay.
very
He was
good-looking guy
overtly, he was
and
being
put them
very
in
friendly
custody.
suddenly.
Yes.
थोडी नेक्स्ट टाइम आकाशला असं नवीन भेटलं ना, हाय आकाश, हाउ आर यू, व्हेरी फ्रेंडली, आकाश वुड बी लाइक ये मेरे को मारेगा,
Yes.
ये
I
रात
will.
में मेरे को मारेगा.
Yes.
It's there in quiet also. Like I was reading that. Like she when she describes about extroverts and introverts, the more likable people are majorly extroverts. Not necessarily that they have the substance that they know the substance that they are talking about. It's just that they are more likable. That's why they get along or they get better positions or they get.
And they want validation quickly, right, from
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So they murder people.
No.
Things
जेफ
that
डॅमरच्या डॉक्युमेंटरीच्या आधी सिरीज पण आली नेटफ्लिक्सला, मला वाटतं मागच्या आठवड्यात काहीतरी.
Yes. So actually, there is, yeah, both the things are there. There is a series, 10-episode series, but I had read mixed reviews about it. Like it is a little bit glorifying him, and even the Netflix didn't consult with the victims' families before making it.
हो.
Like all these things, so I avoided the show, but then I went for the documentary.
तो शो रायन मर्फीने बनवलेला, ज्याने म्हणजे लेजेंडरी तर म्हणणार नाही, पण अमेरिकन क्राईम स्टोरी, अमेरिकन हॉरर स्टोरी, परत पोज, म्हणजे असे चांगले शो बनवलेले आहेत.
Yeah. So because of that and because of these controversies, the show has become the most popular
Yes.
quickly. Like
टॉप 10 मध्ये येऊन गेला तो आता पण
I
मोस्ट वॉच
think
मध्ये.
it is a number one, and the rise of this show, like I think it beat the Squid Games as well.
Yeah.
So it became the fastest show to like garner some billion views or something. I forgot.
what is the name of this show?
मॉन्स्टर, द स्टोरी ऑफ जेफ्री डॅमर. मी तुला ट्रेलर पाठवतो रे.
Okay. Monster and Jeffrey Dahmer.
डांबर नाही रे, डॅमर. मी पाठवतो तुला.
Cut out.
Yeah, so there is that. Actually, I mean, very interesting. Actually, there is. It is a series of documentary. So this documentary series is one of the from the entire series that Netflix makes. The name of the actual series is, I think, this one. Like tapes or something. No, wait. Just
All recordings आहेत बहुतेक त्या.
conversations, like conversations with a killer. So that is the actual name of this series, and one of them is this. Like if you download, they have also made one on that Una Bomber guy.
I think there is also one called Tapes with Ted Bundy tapes.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. Ted Bundy tapes is also there. Yes, yes. Same series. Conversations with a killer with Ted Bundy tapes. That one. I think I have finished last week. So that case also, that is even wackier. He got caught and managed to escape twice, and one time from the courtroom, I think. So yeah.
Street talker.
That story is very, like, it is even crazier. And on the same lines, Netflix has made a series, and like people from India named as
Indian Train.
Indian Predator, and in those they are taking up one, like, famous old cases one by one.
Yes.
Yeah, that is also going on.
There was also a series called Mindhunter. I think there are 2 seasons of that, and it is on the basically the psychology of serial killers.
Yes.
I'm actually waiting for the 3rd season of that.
I think the third season is actually not coming. I think the show is closed.
A couple of days before I read की येणार आहे म्हणून होतं. The date is not decided when it will come.
Okay.
बेसिकली त्या सिरीजमध्ये सायकोलॉजी ऑफ सिरियल किलर्स हे फर्स्ट टाइम जेव्हा इंट्रोड्यूस झालं त्यावेळेसचं ते दाखवलेलं आहे.
Guys.
Okay.
एकटा असतो.
So
आपण सिरियल किलर बद्दल काय बोलतो?
when they started off,
काही नाही.
they framed it as a psychological problem. Like these people have some psychological problem.
ते असे एकटे राहणारे लोक होते आणि एक्स्ट्रोवर्ट दे आर सिरियल किलर. वी हॅव एस्टॅब्लिश्ड इट.
But it's a good show. I have not watched it yet.
मी डॅमरचे 2च एपिसोड पाहिले.
नाही, दॅट इज व्हेरी काइंड ऑफ ऑब्वियस. नो, एकटा राहणार एक्स्ट्रोवर्ट पागल नाही होणार सिरियल.
ते जातात पार्टी करायला जातात, त्यांना बोलायला नसतं, सो दे किल ऑल द गाईज इन दॅट पार्टी वन बाय वन.
डॅमरचे मी 2च एपिसोड पाहिले सिरीजचे, आणि त्याच्यात त्याला गे दाखवलेलं आहे. म्हणजे तो असतो ऑब्व्हियसली, असेलच. आणि ते आता मी गे असल्यामुळे मला ते फार असं नाही, मी आता डेटिंग ऍप मध्ये कुठे जाणार नाही बाबा, नको असं.
एक्स्ट्रा कॉशन.
हा, एक्स्ट्रा कॉशन, कुठल्या साईटवर जाणार नाही किंवा क्रुझिंग स्पॉटला जाणार नाही, असं मला नको बाबा. हे आपण कधीतरी रिलॅक्स असताना बघू, आधीच तब्येत ठीक नाही, नंतर बघू काहीतरी. वाईट येत.
Yeah. So
Zabardast.
show depicts that. Documentary also shows that, and documentary then also, like, just want to point out to, yeah. So maybe some things, like, for example, most of the Dahmer's victims were gay black men. Along with the racial issues, there is also this issue as well. That time, like, there was issue for gay people, so exclusively these guys used to go to gay bars, and there was no proper cooperation from the police department in many of these cases. So these issues are highlighted in the documentary.
तो पुण्यात नसता ना इथं सिरियल किलर कुठे मिळतात? काय मीटअप
पुणे
वगैरे
फेमस
असतं
आहे
का?
त्यासाठी. रणवीर पुणे फेमस आहे त्यासाठी.
काही मीटअप वगैरे असलं तर बोलवा रे भाई, मला पण तिथे येऊन बघून
पुण्यामध्ये फार
घ्या.
मोठा एक खटला झाला होता, मला नाव आठवत नाही, त्याच्या चित्रपट येतोय आता.
जोशी अभ्यंकर केस झाला
जोशी
होता ना.
अभ्यंकर, त्याच्यावर
अरे
फिल्म आहे.
शैतान शैतान शैतान
नाही रे, शैतान त्याच्यावर होता.
हा शैतान त्याच्यावर होता. लूजली बेस्ट.
नाही, आता ऍक्च्युअली त्याच्यावर बेसवर येतोय, मराठी येतोय पिक्चर.
ओके ओके बघू.
त्या जोशी अभ्यंकरवर.
कोण आहे तो?
टीजर आलेले मागे, पण अजून फक्त नाव म्हणजे असं मोशन पिक्चर आलेलं एक प्रकारे ऑफिशियल.
चला आय थिंक वी कॅन स्टॉप. Serial habits to serial killer. Good decision.
I think there is already a movie. It's an old movie. Mafika Sakshidar.
Yeah.
माफीचा साक्षीदार is witness for prosecution ना? विटनेस फॉर प्रोसिक्युशन नाटक होतं, त्याचं एक माफीचा साक्षीदार नावाचं मराठी नाटक होतं. इज दॅट इट? पण ते वेगळं आहे. देर इज नो मर्डर देर.
नाही पिक्चर हा मराठी आपल्या जोशी अभ्यंकर केसवर
पिक्चर आहे. ओके ओके. नाटक काय?
नाही चित्रपट
नाही. ते नाही माहिती. नाटक माहिती, ते नाही माहिती. ओके, वेगळं असं.
जोशी आता नवीन येते का?
वेब series Jackal is set to unravel the Joshi Abhinkar case that took place in Pune of the 1970s. I think it's a series.
ओके, फक्त त्याने टीजर दिलं होतं, ते मला वाटलं फिल्म असेल. आय डोंट नो, सिरीज असू शकेल.
So one more year it is going to be launched in October 23. So yeah.
Chalo.
Anything else? Oh, Ranveer already left.
Yes. Shall we call it then?
Yeah. करायला पाहिजे.
Yeah, you can start.
Yes.
If anyone else wants to bring up another topic, it's okay. Otherwise, yeah, we can call it a day.
We can call it a day, Akash.
शेवटी एक फक्त ट्रिविया आहे की इंडिया हॅज द record, like there is an Indian serial killer who has the record to be the youngest serial killer.
Nice.
The 8-year-old guy, na?
Yeah. He started.
Yeah.
No. He started his professional career at 6. Killing.
Wow.
So which case is this?
Prodigy.
Akash, this is a very dark rabbit hole. नहीं आहे एक I guess
that meme, right? मैं बर्बाद होना चाहता हूँ. So I want to find out.
So even I've read about that. It's some kid who like started killing for fun. He killed his babysitter and then some other girl and then some other. And it was like then he's currently sent into juvenile court and he's like 16 or something and he's probably supposed to come out or something like that. I don't remember.
Yes, I think by now he must be out of jail. Like this was around 2003 something, I think. And त्याला काहीतरी 15-16 वर्ष यामध्ये ठेवलं, ज्युव्हेनाइल जेलमध्ये रिहॅबसाठी. अँड हिज पेरेंट्स नो. म्हणजे मोठी गोष्ट अशी की त्याने फर्स्ट जे मर्डर केला त्याच्या कझिनचा होता, लहान कझिनचा. अँड हिज पेरेंट्स नो अँड हर पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो न्यू अबाउट इट. बट स्टील त्यांनी काही बोलले नाही. बट त्यानंतर त्याने दुसरा मर्डर केला, ज्यानंतर पोलीस इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन झाली, असं झालं आणि त्याला पकडलं. सो त्याला, आणि त्याने पण म्हणजे स्वतः कन्फेशन केलं. फक्त त्याने म्हटलं होतं की मला काही बिस्किट्स द्या, मी सांगितलं. बट टिपिकली 5-6 year old child.
अमरजीत साधा नाव आहे त्याचं काहीतरी. चेक करून
त्यांनी
घ्या
अजून
गुगल.
कोणतं तरी एक थर्ड मुलीचं पण केलं म्हणजे काहीतरी कोणीतरी एक हे केली नंतर छोट्या या बहिणीचं काहीतरी केलं होतं चाइल्ड अँड देन किल्ड थर्ड पर्सन अँड तेव्हा ती थोडी हवा झाली होती बिकॉज अदरवाईज द फॅमिली पीपल वॉन्टेड टू कीप इट इन द हाऊस घरचा पोरगा आहे म्हणून.
Okay,
From Bihar.
I'll leave you all on that.
Is it from Bihar?
हा यूपी किंवा बिहारचा आहे ते लाईक देवर काय डेली वेज वर्कर्स होते बहुतेक त्याची फॅमिली.
Okay.
बट स्टिल आय थिंक रमन राघव 2 वॉज द बेस्ट मूवी बॉलिवूड ऑन सिरियल किलर्स.
थिएटर मध्ये पाहिला असेल बॅकग्राऊंड म्युझिक त्याच्यामध्ये काहीच असं काय म्हणतात ग्रुसम किलिंग नाहीये पण बापरे बॅकग्राऊंड म्युझिकने इतकं एनहान्स होते ना ते आणि ऍक्टिंग जबरदस्त.
ऑन स्क्रीन गोर नाहीये.
हा
Yeah. So, but it is shot like in a way and music. So, like audio visual effect makes it go
हॉरर सारखं वाटत.
in your
आय
mind.
थिंक ऑन स्क्रीन गोर जर असतं तर इट वुड हॅव बीन बेटर देन अमेरिकन सिरियल किलर.
येस पण ते नाहीये.
सॉरी अमेरिकन सायको.
सायको.
Okay. Yeah. So this thing is also talked about in that Dahmer documentary as well. Also from that Indian docu-series, Indian Predator. So the last installment of that series, like they had a guy, like they basically they hack people, right? So in that also the like in every such series, Netflix brings someone, a psychiatrist or something, right?
Correct.
In the both the documentaries, both series, the documentary, like the psychologist or psychiatrist, whoever he was, he said like these people have a morbid curiosity about human anatomy, and from there, like the craving or fascination grows, and later it goes out of control.
And if you are more inclined to that, watch the Wrong Turn series.
Yeah, so that one to do that series like Final Destination plus serial killers or gore, something like that.
ते अल्टिमेट आहे म्हणजे हॉलिवूडने काही सिरीज अशा बनवल्यात खरंच. सॉ सिरीज झाली, रॉंग टर्न सिरीज झाली की म्हणजे गोर पण.
Yeah, Saw series I think is still going on and there is
येस लाईक आय थिंक 2 years ago एक आलं होतं सॉ जिक्सॉ ना.
मागच्या शेवटचा पिक्चर आला त्याच्यामध्ये सॅम्युअल जॅक्सन होता बहुतेक.
Oh. Wow. But
आता ऍक्च्युली OTT वर आले पाहिजेत असे मूवीज.
Gore, I think also it is a very well made series because where the story is carefully connected. So each upcoming movie is carefully connected to previous part.
स्पायरल नाव होतं त्याचं मागच्या वर्षी आलेल्या फिल्मचं.
So this is one thing I have observed about Saw series at least.
कंटिन्युटी छान मेंटेन करा.
Is maintained very well. And the first ever movie, the first Saw, just Saw. It was it's just a bathroom, right?
Shot in one.
They rented abandoned garage or something, or bathroom.
Sion Brothers,
They
na?
literally had no money, so they shot it the way it is. Those two guys, the DOP and the director and the writer. So they had no money. They only got this one place, to shoot. And so yeah, out of that they made Saw.
Yeah, they are the Sian brothers, no?
Yeah, so this is another piece of trivia about that movie. Yep. And I think they both were in film school and they didn't complete or something, and they had to drop out or something. I'm not
Wow.
sure. So yeah. All right. Anything else?
Any other trivia?
We are well past 1 hour. Even we have past 1.5 hour mark as well.
अजून थोडं काही बोललं तर 2 तास होऊन जातील आपले. फिल्मसाठी वेगळं सेशन म्हणजे करत असेल तर काही करायला हरकत नाही, कारण आता बुक्स आपलं झालं आहे ते 1 तासानंतर आपण फिल्म्सकडे वळालो तर ते बेटर राहील जर स्पेसिफिक फिल्म बद्दल असेल तर टॉपिक वाईज.
Separate session, or we can do it. Actually, this is the way we always do. So generally, even if it is set for 1 hour, the meeting goes for 1.5 to 2 hours. And in the second half, mostly we talk about like non-book stuff. And most of the time, it comes down to
Films.
these documentaries.
Not every time killers.
Yeah. So anyhow, it comes to movies because like most of the times we can find something relatable to some or the other book or some topic or story that is already written in a book somewhere, which find its way to a screen. It is
The
not
Midnight
always
Club
possible, but
नावाची
most of the times.
द मिडनाईट क्लब नावाची सिरीज आहे, बुक सिरीज.
Okay.
त्याच्यावर आता नेटफ्लिक्सने एक सीझन बनवलाय. मी काल पाहिला तो, काल परवा तो, म्हणजे 3-4 दिवसात थोडं थोडं. बिलकुल चांगला नाही, पण ते बुक सिरीज फार फेमस आहे अमेरिकेमध्ये. इव्हन मी नागपूरला असतो तर नागपूरमध्ये पण बऱ्याचशा बुक स्टोअर मध्ये त्याच्यातले काही काही बुक्स मिळतात.
Midnight
हॉरर.
series.
सॉरी,
Midnight series. What is the name?
नाही, मिडनाईट
Midnight Club. Oh, okay.
क्लब या क्लब.
And Netflix has made a series
मिडनाईट
with the
मास
same
पण
name.
आहे.
Okay, the Midnight Club. Okay.
बिलकुल बघू नका.
सिरियल किलर्सवर आहे का?
नाही, मिडनाईट क्लब म्हणजे 7-8 मुलं असतात जे टर्मिनली येल असतात. ते काही महिन्यात जातीलच, ऑब्व्हियसली असे असतात. कॅन्सर, एड्स किंवा अजून काही प्रॉब्लेम असे. सो आणि 80s नाही 90s मधली स्टोरी आहे ती. सो त्या काळात मोबाईल वगैरे नाही आहेत, टेलिफोन आहेत पण खूप रेअरली असं. तर सगळे लोक अशा एका हॉस्पिटल म्हणा किंवा असं एक घर ज्याच्यामध्ये ते त्यांना हॉस्पिटल नाही येते पण त्यांना सगळ्या सोयी सुविधा आहेत तिथे. तर तिथे येऊन राहतात आणि दररोज रात्री 12 वाजता एका लायब्ररीमध्ये जमून हॉरर स्टोरीज सांगतात ते. पण त्या हॉरर स्टोरीज स्पेसिफिकली स्पिरिट्स किंवा भूता संबंधित असतील असं काही गरजेचं नाही. सायफाय असू शकतात, टाइम ट्रॅव्हल असू शकतात असं. म्हणजे त्यात हॉरर एलिमेंट असायला पाहिजे फक्त असं. आणि मग साइड बाय साइड यांच्या स्टोरीज पण होतात की यांचा आजार कसा वाढत जातो किंवा काय होते यांच्या लाईफ मध्ये, पूर्वी काय झालेलं आहे, असं सर्व आहे. पण फार डल सिरीज आहे, फार स्लो आहे. 50 मिनिटाचे 10 एपिसोड आहेत, जे की फार अवघड जाते बघायला. ते मजा नाही ते बघण्यात.
So yeah, with this habit creation framework, like create a habit of watching everything at 1.5x or 2x.
आणि नेटफ्लिक्सला ती सोय आहे लकीली. 1.25 ने पाहू शकतो आपण नेटफ्लिक्सला.
Yes.
बाकी ओटीटीवर नाहीये.
I think others also have, right? Or no?
नाही, माझ्याकडे हॉटस्टार आहे, त्याच्यावर पण नाही. अमेझॉनला पण नाहीये मला जेवढं आठवतं तेवढं. सोनीवर तर बिलकुल नाही. सोनीचं तर सगळ्यात वर्स्ट नाही म्हणणार मी.
Use the browser extension.
ओके.
Video speed
त्याच्यावर
controller.
त्याच्यावर करावं लागेल.
With the extension, you can control the speed with 0.1 step increments. So 1.1, 1.2.
ओके.
That way you can go 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 8, then 2.
ओके.
Yeah.
चला आता मी निघतो. आय होप एक लोक निघतात आता हळूहळू. मी निघतो. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
Yeah, I think we should. Anyway,
Yes.
चालेल. चलो गुड डे. बाय.
चलो.
Yes, boss.
Start the recording.
हो. अरे आकाश, सिरियल किलर पण आले का ॲटॉमिक हॅबिट्स मध्ये?
Sorry.
सिरियल किलर्स पण ॲटॉमिक हॅबिट्स मध्ये आले. Anyway, बघूयात नंतर त्याचं.
उतना एडिट कर लेंगे.
हा.
अरे याच्यातून लिव्ह कसं व्हायचं मला. अच्छा, इकडे बटन नाही लागलं. थँक्यू. नाही मी डायरेक्ट लिंक वरून ओपन केले गुगल क्रोम मध्ये. सो सॉरी. थँक्यू.
येस. चलो बाय बाय.
चलो बाय बाय.